Welcome back. So first night of February, and this is the busiest night in the NHL for the entire month. Because of course, that we're going to have the Olympic break, and instead, we're not. So this is the busiest day. So after today, the rest of the month is kind of easy for me, and I intend to have some fun with it, while keeping track of what's going on in the Olympics and all that at the same time. But let's go ahead and start things off talking about the early starts with Seattle and Boston. Seattle showing Boston, you've got to be careful with Seattle because they're capable of comebacks. So it was Drieger versus Ullmark in this one. Seattle gets a power play. That led to a shorthanded chance for Bergeron. Eberle has a tip chance that saved. The power play ends up being killed off. McCann can't bury one. The Bruins press halfway through. The Kraken go back to the power play. Aggressive penalty kill by the Bruins does kill that off. The shots, though, are 7-4 for Seattle with 6 minutes left. The shots even up as Bruins press. Johansson had a break. He couldn't bury it, but it's scoreless after one. Second period. Early press by Seattle. Vakanainen goes down on a hit by Gord. It was a 5-minute penalty. They reviewed it. They dropped it to 2 minutes. For the record, I agreed with it being dropped to 2 minutes. I didn't think it was worth a 5-minute penalty. So as much as Nesson, you had Edwards and Brickley both kind of leaning towards a 5. I thought it was a 2. Pastrnak has a blast that's blocked. A shorthanded chance for Donskoy was saved, which is standard for Donskoy, but he had a good night tonight. And they kill that off. We get Gord versus Lazar and Lauzon versus Forbert on the same play. So I don't mind that. Seattle ends up with a power play. That's killed off. The Bruins get another power play. They score on theirs. It's Pastrnak from Hall and Marchand at 9:06. And then the Bruins press for another. The Kraken get another power play, and then they had 38 seconds of 5-on-3. Boston kills that, and then Taylor Hall gets a goal at 16:09 to make it 2-0. So the power play is not helping Seattle in this one. Marchand then had a rush chance that saved. It's 2-0 Boston after the second period, and the penalty kill was really helping them out tonight. Third period, 42 seconds in, on a turnover, screenshot, Donskoy gets a goal from Donato and Wenberg. So 42 seconds in, Donskoy finally gets his first goal as a member of the Seattle Kraken. I hope he has a big second half of at least 10 goals overall, because he's had a lot of opportunities. He's played well, just wasn't getting any luck around the net. So maybe this is a sign that things are going to turn around for him. Seattle presses to tie it. They get a power play. That's killed off. But at 7.5 minutes exactly, Appleton scores from Larson. So now it's a tie game. The momentum is with Seattle. Crowd's getting kind of antsy. Lazar has a chance that's saved, and with 9:32 left, the Bruins get a power play, and they score pretty early. It's Pastrnak from Bergeron and Marchand at 10:49. So Pastrnak with his second power play goal of the game puts Boston ahead 3-2. There's a goalie pull with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. With 1:48 left, Seattle calls a timeout. Doesn't matter. Seattle loses this one 3-2. Boston goes to 26-14-3. Seattle, it's another loss, 14-27-3 for them. Your 3 stars are Pastrnak, Hall, and Ullmark. Shots, 9-7 Seattle in the first, 11-9 Boston in the second, 9-8 Seattle in the third. Final shots actually favored Seattle 27-26. Power plays, Seattle 0-for-6. Boston 2-for-3. That's your game right there. Hits 26-16 for Boston. Drieger saves 23-26. Ullmark bounces back from a rough game against Dallas. Saves 25 out of 27. Not bad. So there you go. The goaltending worked out pretty well tonight. Next up, San Jose in against Tampa and giving them a hard time. So it's Reimer versus Vasilevsky in this one. Tampa Bay gets an early power play. That's killed off. Tampa Bay presses after. 6.5 minutes into this, the shots are 5-3 for Tampa. So they're off to a very good start, not getting goals. Sharks get a power play. Bolts are shot blocking. Bonino has a shot that's saved. It's killed off. Dahlin then had a chance saved as it ended. The Sharks had some momentum afterwards, but we roll into the second period scoreless. Early in the second, Cirelli, who's having a very good season goal-scoring-wise, at 1:32 scores from Point and McDonough. That lead lasts until 4:50 when Balcers tips one in from Vlasic and Couture to tie the game. The shots, with 8.5 minutes left, are 5-2 in favor of Tampa. So Tampa, again, controlling the puck, but the game is tied. Sharks get a power play. That's killed off. The Bolts get a power play. Stamkos misses a chance high, but Killorn would score on that power play at 18:08, and then Tampa goes right back to the power play. So we go to the third period. The Sharks finish the kill on that power play, and then they get a power play of their own, and they score on theirs. Couture ties the game from Burns and Barabanov at 1:12. Peterson's denied by Vasilevsky. At 8.5 minutes, the shots are 6-4 for the Sharks, so they had a very good third period. The Bolts would press with 2 minutes left, but this game was destined for overtime, and in we go. Both teams 6-2 in overtime coming into this one, so they're both very good at the 3-on-3. Sharks controlling the face-off. Meyer coughs it up, though. Stamkos with a rush. The Bolts control. Vasilevsky makes a really big save when San Jose did have the puck. Point then has a rush chance. He fires wide. Hurdle has a rush. He couldn't get that on the net. With 2:54 left, they call 2 penalties. So San Jose wasn't happy with, I believe, was an embellishment on Meyer. They weren't happy with that. But what ends up happening is Hedman scores at 2:45, still 3-on-3. And so Tampa Bay wins this one in overtime 3-2. For Tampa Bay, they go to 30-10-6. Yeah, they're having a great season. San Jose 22-20-4. So they get points on this road trip through this absolutely nightmarish schedule. We'll see what happens once they've passed through this and whether or not they stay in the hunt. Your 3 stars are Hedman, Couture, and Cirelli. The shots, 9-7 Tampa in the first, 9-6 Tampa in the second, 12-7 Tampa in the third, and in the overtime, 2-1 for Tampa. They outshoot the San Jose Sharks in total, 32-21. Power plays, San Jose 1 for 3, Tampa 1 for 4. The hits, 43-37 for San Jose. Very physical game. Reimer saves 29 out of 32. Vasilevsky saves 19 out of 21. And again, for San Jose, they'll wish they'd gotten 2 points, but I think they'll take the 1 and just run with it. So, yeah, Tampa Bay stays hot. Next up, Toronto. So what we found out over the last 2 days, New Jersey doesn't play well against Toronto. It was Campbell versus Gillies, and it turns out to be a good idea to put Campbell in net. He had his best game he's had in a while. Early test for Campbell, he passed that, and then Spezza scores from Engvall at 2:13. The Devils get a power play. That's killed off. Marner has a chance that's saved, and then Matthews would make it 2-0 from Marner and Bunting at 8:38. So Bunting stays hot too. And then at 9:04, less than 30 seconds later, it's Camp from Mikheyev, and that's where the Devils call a timeout. It doesn't end up working, but you call a timeout. You basically read them the riot act. Engvall nearly adds another, and then Marner does. He scores from Matthews at 15:31, so now it's 4-0. New Jersey's already used their timeout. Leafs get a power play. They get 20 seconds of 5-on-3. For the record, New Jersey does kill that off, but it's 4-0 after 1. Second period. Shots are 3-0 for the Devils at 3.5 minutes, so you get the idea maybe they're putting something together. However, at 8:25, Bunting scores a goal to go with his assist from Marner and Kampf, and it was it was a good setup. And and then we get a power play for the Devils. In fact, we get 1 minute and 46 seconds of 5-on-3. So both teams had 5-on-3s tonight, and both of them failed to score on them. Campbell saves on Hughes as it's killed off. Mercer then hits the side of the net. The Devils were pressing, but before the period's out, Engvall scores from Simmons and Spezza at 15:12. And so it's 6-0 going into the third period, which leaves only one question left, which is answered at 3:31 by Jack Hughes scoring a goal to spoil the shutout from Sharon Govich and Bratt. The shots are 4-1 for the Devils at 5 minutes, but at 5:57, Marner makes it 7-1. Shots are 9-6 for the Devils with 8.5 minutes left, so that's something. They did outshoot Toronto in the third, but they lose 7-1. Toronto goes to 29-10-3 with the win. New Jersey drops to 15-25-5 with the loss. Your 3 stars are Marner, Bunting, and Matthews. The shots 18-9 Toronto in the first, 10-9 Toronto in the second, 14-8 New Jersey in the third. Final shots 36-32 for the Leafs. The Leafs go 0 for 2 on the power play. New Jersey goes 0 for 3 on theirs. The hits were only 12-9 New Jersey. Not a physical game at all. This one has 80 hits. This one has 20. So there you go. Campbell, 31 saves on 32 shots. Gillies, 22 saves on 28 shots. Schmid would come in the third. He saved 7 out of 8. And so for New Jersey, both goaltenders had their numbers kind of beat up over the last couple of days. They'll be glad not to see Toronto for a while, I would imagine. I would imagine New Jersey fans won't want to see Toronto for a while either. On the other hand, Toronto fans really going to be sad to see New Jersey go. So we'll see how things go for Toronto from here. All right, next up, Florida. So Florida in against the New York Rangers. And in terms of game of the night, I don't know that I would call this one the game of the night. I think Dallas and Calgary ends up being game of the night. As much as the result ended up just being flabbergasting to me, I know there were some people who were probably quite happy with how that one ended up. I do wonder how many people turned it off thinking, well, this is over. Anyway, we had Knight versus Shesterkin in this one. Zibanejad scores at 35 seconds, and it's Forsling that tips it into his own net. So it's a good Rangers bounce at the start. It's a good start. Verhaeghe has a shot that's blocked. Shesterkin saves a bouncing puck. Those bouncing pucks are dangerous, and that's one of those things too that I've been noticing more of. That players are taking those bouncing shots because it can throw a goaltender off. So the shots are 5-2 for the Panthers at 8 minutes. The Panthers were playing very well after that opening goal by Zibanejad. Panthers scored, but it's ruled offside. However, they get it back. It's Duclair with his 19th of the season from Huberdeau and Barkov at 10:44. So it's a tie game, and again, Florida's controlling it. Lomberg has a rush chance, fires one high. It's all Panthers in the second half to that point. There's a power play for the Rangers. Miller has a shot that's saved. It's killed off. It has 2 shots. So we're going into the second period. It's 1-1. There's an early power play for the Panthers. They score on it. It's Reinhart from Barkov and Ekblad at 2:18. So again, I've seen this storyline play itself out over the last month and a half. Basically since the season started, really. I mean, if I think about it, it goes back to October. But this is where the Rangers turn that narrative on its ear. Panthers were seeking another, but then Lafreniere gets a goal from Kreider at 3:27. The Rangers then get a power play. The Panthers do kill that off. They get a power play of their own. It's unsuccessful. Trouba with a net drive. Kreider was denied. Panthers get a power play. There's a shorthanded pass to Kreider. Knight clears it out, though. So they tried to do the stretch pass to Kreider. The only one that could stop it was Spencer Knight. He comes out of the net and sends it away from Kreider. Because if Kreider gets that puck, it's probably going in the net. Rangers press, and they draw themselves a power play. So Kreider scores on the power play from Strome and Panarin at 17:25. Continues his career year. He's having ridiculous amount of goals. He leads the league in goals now. So can he score 60? At this rate, he can. 50 is kind of a given at this point, isn't it? So anyways, we go to the third with the score 3-2 for the Rangers. And then the question becomes, do the Florida Panthers have another comeback in them? Shots are 3-2 for the Panthers at 6 minutes. So they had opportunities, but that's not really Florida-level shots in a third period when they're doing their comeback stuff. The Rangers control Florida in the first half. I thought they did a good job of keeping them to the outside in what I saw, keeping in mind there were 10 games on at this point. Tippett has a chance saved. The Panthers not getting sustained pressure in anything that I saw there. 6:18 left. The Rangers get a power play, and they score on it. It's Kreider from Zibanejad and Panarin at 14:39. Verhaeghe is denied. The goalie is pulled with 3:33 left. With 1:37 left, the Panthers, they take a penalty, so that ends it. So they pulled the goalie to get 5-on-5 action going on, which allows Panarin to hit the empty net at 19:19. The Rangers win this one 5-2. They go to 30-13-4. Huge win for the Rangers. For Florida, they lose it. They're 32-10-5 with that regulation loss. So your 3 stars are Kreider, Zibanejad, and Shesterkin. Another great game for Igor. Your shots, 15-7 Florida in the first, 15-12 Rangers in the second, and 13-9 Rangers in the third. They controlled that Florida offense, something I haven't seen very many teams do. Overall, the shots were 36-35 for Florida. Power plays, Florida 1 for 3, Rangers 3 for 5. So that power play was lethal for the Rangers. Hits 38-25 for the Rangers. Knight saves 30 out of 34. Shesterkin saves 34 out of 36. Fantastic night for him. Pretty good night for the Rangers. And I need to change boards. All right, Winnipeg. So it was a big game for Winnipeg tonight. This is a chance. They blow it. So let's get into it. It's Hellebuck versus Hart in this one. And 48 seconds in on their first shot, Winnipeg scores. So Connor gets a goal from Perfetti and Dubois. And honestly, Carter Hart allows a goal in the first shot. That usually means you're going to have a good night. Shots are 2-1 for the Jets at 7 minutes. Giroux to Atkinson. Hellebuck denies on that, so good opportunity for Philadelphia. Hellebuck stands up to that. Kovacevic had an opportunity that was a glove saved by Hart. Flyers get a power play. We then get a minute and 25 seconds of 4-on-4. The Flyers get another power play with 2:20 left. The Jets killed that off as well. But we go into the second period with it 1-0 for Winnipeg. In that second period, the Flyers have a 2-on-1. Hellebuck saves there. The shots were 8-2 for the Jets 7 minutes in. They get a power play. It doesn't score. And then it's Konechny at 10:42 that ties it. So we have a 1-1 game. And the momentum kind of changes a bit. McEwen has a net drive that wouldn't go. Kopp has a chance that's saved and held. There's a late power play for the Flyers, which rolls over into the third period. The Jets, for the record, they do finish off the kill. Flyers go right back to the power play. Now, when you're giving up as many power plays as that over a shorter period, it's hard to get your lines rolling. It's hard to really get that momentum. Even if you kill it off, it can be tough. Provorov to Giroux wouldn't go. There was a shorthanded chance for Lowry that was defended. They did kill it off. Shots are 6-3 for the Flyers at 7.5 minutes. Connor couldn't bury one. Pionk misses one high, so they had opportunities, just couldn't quite find the net. Flyers press with 5 minutes left, and eventually it's Van Riemsdyk scoring from Lawton at 15:51. And this is where Sanheim then gets a blast that's saved, and the Flyers start pressing. So it's a little bit late when the Jets are able to pull the goalie, and not long after they pull him, Lindblom hits the empty net from Atkinson at 18:46. That makes the score 3-1. That would be your final. Philadelphia goes to 15-22-8 with the win. Winnipeg 18-17-7 with the loss. The 3 stars in this one, Van Riemsdyk, Hart, and Connor. So Carter Hart bounces back from allowing a goal in the first shot, and he's your second star. The shots in this one, 12-7 Philly in the first, 15-10 Winnipeg in the second, 14-11 in favor of Philadelphia in the third. Final shots, 36-33 for Philadelphia. Power plays, Winnipeg 0-2, Philadelphia 0-4. The hits, 29-24 for Winnipeg. Hellebuck saves 33 out of 35, and Hart saves 32 out of 33. So both goalies play well tonight, and in the end, it's a low-scoring game, and Philadelphia comes out on top. So they're not making the playoffs, but they definitely deal a blow to the playoff hopes for the Winnipeg Jets, who I think as the weeks go on, yeah, they're probably going to fall out of it. So it's too bad, but that's where we're at. Next up, Capitals and the Penguins. So this might have been the game of the night, and we can have that debate over which one's the game of the night. Because sure, different things will please different people, but Washington and Pittsburgh's usually pretty good, and tonight was no exception. So we get Vanacek versus Jarry. There's an early press by the Caps. McGinn fires one, or McGinn has a fast break, fires wide. Penguins had the only shot 4 minutes into it. It was not a game of a lot of opportunities early. Power play for the Penguins. That leads to a breakaway shorthanded goal for Dowd at 5:50. The Penguins, to their credit, they bounce right back. At 6:26, on that same power play, Malkin scores from Gensel and Letang. But Vanacek gets hurt. Samsonov goes in. So, the question can be one of, all right, so Samsonov, is this going to turn the game against the Caps? Because stats-wise, Vanacek's been better most of the season. Penguins get another power play, and they score on this one too. It's Rust from Crosby and Gensel at 11:26. So Gensel with 2 assists already. Kapanen then had a break that was denied, and McGinn gets denied shortly thereafter. So it's 2-1 Pittsburgh, and honestly, it looks like Pittsburgh could start to run away with this. But the Caps get a power play, and they score on theirs. Orlov, who was playing forward tonight, not really, but he ends up doing forward things tonight. He scores from Sherry and Schultz at 16:13. The Caps go back to the power play. That one was killed. It was the first kill of the night. The first 3 power plays all succeeded. In the last minute, there's a press by the Penguins. So it's 2-2 after the first period. And honestly, from watching as much of this as again as I could, I kind of felt like Pittsburgh was the better team, but it's tied, so it doesn't matter. Second period. Penguins get a power play. Zahorna can't bury one. It's killed off. Delay a game puts Pittsburgh right back on the power play early, and they score on this one too. It's Rust with the 3rd power play goal for Pittsburgh of the night, and his second from Crosby and Gensel. So Gensel with his 3rd assist, Crosby with his 2nd assist at 4:44. Then the Caps score. Dowd gets one, but it's challenged, and on the review they decide it's goalie interference. I was actually kind of surprised they overturned that one. That one was a bit of a surprise to me. Penguins get a power play. That's killed off. Rust has a chance. Van Riemsdyk blocks on that. So Rust was looking for the hat trick at that point. Kapanen can't bury one on a rush. Ovechkin with the net drive. Jari denied him on that. I thought Ovechkin was getting a goal there. But then Sprong in the final minute. He loves playing against Pittsburgh. He scores from Karlsson and Ovechkin at 19:18. So that makes it 3-3. We go to the third period. Not a lot to talk about with the third period. Gensel's denied on a rush. His next opportunity ends up going high. The shots were 7-3 for the Penguins with 8 minutes left. Again, there's so many things going on at the same time. And because there were so many goals in this game, I got concerned about having enough space. And what if this goes to overtime? Am I going to have enough space? Jensen has a shot that deflects out. And then the last moments, Hathaway couldn't quite win the game. So we go to overtime. Penguins control in the faceoff. Crosby is robbed. Ovechkin fires one wide. Backstrom winds it up again. So Ovechkin fires it wide, but the Caps kept the puck. Sprong goes offside on a stretch pass. The Penguins then press again. And they had a chance, and Samsonov saves there. Kuznetsov then had a net drive where he couldn't bury, but then Orlov wires it. He scores from Kuznetsov and Wilson at 4:17. And so the Capitals go into Pittsburgh. They get an overtime win. They go to 25-12-9 with the win. The Penguins, it's becoming a pattern now. They lose in overtime. They're 27-11-8 now. So I've talked about Pittsburgh with their 9 overtime and shootout loss points. Now Pittsburgh's almost tied them. They're at 8. So it's a lot of extra points. Your 3 stars in this one, Orlov, Samsonov, and Rust. The shots, 12-10 Pittsburgh in the first, 23-7 Pittsburgh in the second. In the third, Washington outshoots them 12-10, and in the overtime, also outshot them 3-2, including the shot that matters. Final shots, 47-32 for Pittsburgh. Power plays, Washington 1 for 2. Pittsburgh 3 for 5. So, yeah, Washington's power play gets a goal. Their penalty kill needed to be a little bit better. Hits are 28-20 for Washington. VAN-NSH saves 1 out of 2 before he exits. Samsonov saved 43 out of 45. He was great. Jari saves 28 out of 32 at the other end for Pittsburgh. And he's not giving them that, like, Jari was giving them that world-beating goaltending during a lot of the streak. Now his numbers have started to kind of even out a little bit. We'll see how things go for them from here. Could be interesting. Next up, Ottawa in against the Islanders. So this was a game that started at 4:30. All the games I just talked about were all 4 o'clock starts. This was 4:30. Forsberg versus Sorokin in this one. Early press by the Senators, and they score. It's Holden. Trickles across the line. They all count. From Ennis and Tkachuk at 1:56. Not long after, we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Matt Martin has a rush chance that's saved. The Islanders press at 5.5 minutes. Nelson was denied by Forsberg. Power play for the Islanders. Forsberg denies Lee, and it's killed off. So early, Ottawa's up 1-0. Forsberg looks really good. And the fans were kind of getting restless then as the Senators pressure and were looking for another goal. The Islanders go back to the power play, and it's Beauvillier, who's had some bad luck this year, but he gets a power play goal here. Maybe the heating up has started, because it's from Parise, who also seems to be heating up right now. Nelson with the secondary assist at 18:07. And then in the final minute, the Islanders with some pressure. Stützle, though, was denied in the final seconds of the period. So it's 1-1 after 1. Entertaining first period. Second period, 6.5 minutes in. The shots are 4-2 for the Islanders. Zub defends an Islanders net drive. Formenton with a break, that's denied. But then Wahlstrom is not denied. Wahlstrom gets a goal from Chara and Dobson at 8:42. Shots are 7-3 for the Islanders at the half. So you can see, Senators just aren't getting shots at this point. They're not generating enough offense. That would pick up in the second half. The Senators press. Pelech and Mayfield were both on for more than 3 minutes. Pelech was on a few seconds longer, so I wrote Pelech down. But Mayfield was on for a long time as well. And then, there's a goal. It's Barzal from Mayfield at 15:50. So that gives the Islanders a 3-1 lead. That was a result of a really strong shift by the Islanders. The Senators get a late power play. That's killed off. We go to the third period with the Islanders up 3-1. And I'll admit, I wrote the records up. I was like, yeah, that's going to end it. 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Sorokin denies Formenton. And then Pelech widens the lead from Mayfield and Pajot at 7:44. So Mayfield with a couple of assists. Pelech with a goal. Who saw that coming? Shots are 8-5 for the Sens with 7.5 minutes left. Clutterbuck had a blast that was saved, but in the end, the Islanders win this one 4-1. They go to 16-16-6. So again, They fall below 500, they get to 500. Then they go above 500, fall back to 500. They need to string wins together. For Ottawa, they dropped to 14, 22, and 4. Your shots, 14-8 in favor of the Islanders in the first, 9-8 Islanders in the second, 11-7 Ottawa in the third. Final shots, 30-27 for the Islanders. Power plays, Ottawa just has the one, didn't score. The Islanders were 1 for 2. Hits, 35-25 for Ottawa. Forsberg saves 26 out of 30. Sorokin saves 26 out of 27. And your 3 stars are all Islanders. Pelech was second star, first star is Mayfield, third star is Barzal. So, wrong order. So, Mayfield, Pelech, Barzal. Sorry. All right. So, for the Islanders, good game. And for the Senators, they got off to that good start. Just couldn't quite get it there. Next up, Vancouver. So for the Vancouver Canucks tonight, I used the Lunar New Year magnet because it is Lunar New Year. So if you're celebrating Lunar New Year, Happy New Year. All right, it's Demko versus Saros in this one. There was a power play for the Predators. It's unsuccessful, and Vancouver opens the scoring. It's Highmore from Lamico at 7:55. The shots, 4 apiece at the half. So Vancouver had to be happy with how it started. May not have been as happy with how it finished, but hey. Pressed by the Predators with 9.5 minutes left, the Canucks get a power play. It's killed off, and then the Preds start rolling. First, it's Johansson from McCarron and Carrier at 14:22, and then a little over a minute later, Forsberg tips one in from Myers and Duchesne at 15:30. To the Canucks' credit, they come back. It's Ekman-Larsson from Besser at 17:36, ties the game up. It's 2-2 after 1. Second period. Fast rushes for both teams early in the period. So both teams seem to have some good legs going on there. However, the Preds get a power play and they score on it. It's Forsberg from Yossi and Granlund at 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Predators then start looking for another. So they're up 3-2. They would not look back. Demko denies Forsberg, then denies Duchesne as well. Pettersson had a chance, was blocked out. There's a late power play for the Preds. It's 3-2 going into the third period. In the third, early press by the Predators, and they would score. It's Jeannot who continues his run towards potential Calder. From Ekholm and Sissons at 1:28. 5 minutes into this, the shots are 5-2 for the Preds. This game is just, at that point, I knew it was basically done. Saros saves on OEL. Predators control at the half. Saros saves and holds on to a shot from Luke Shen, who had another good game. Goalie gets pulled with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. Canucks can't generate. I mean, if Saros can see it, he saves it, right? So Nashville wins 4-2. The Canucks drop back to 500, 20-20-6. They're kind of doing the same thing as the Islanders. The difference being in the West, you don't need the stellar record to make the playoffs that you do in the East. On the Nashville side, they're 28-14-4 with the win. So they win 2 out of 3 meetings with Vancouver this year. They're done with each other. Your 3 stars, all members of the Predators, Forsberg, Johansson, and Jeannot. The shots, 11-9 in favor of Nashville in the first, 14-5 Vancouver in the second, and then 12-9 Nashville in the third. Final shots, 32-28 for Vancouver. I'm surprised Saros didn't get a star, to be honest. Power plays, Vancouver 0 for 2. Nashville 1 for 3, so Vancouver's penalty kill kind of costs them tonight, although it's a 4-2 score, so just the 1 goal. Anyways, hits, 44-31 Nashville, so there was a lot of hits. Nashville had 20 hits in the first period. Demko, 24 saves on 28 shots. Saros had 30 saves on 32 shots. They got out goaltended. It happens. And now, I need to change boards. Okay, so, Calgary went in against Dallas tonight, and I have to say, this feels like one of those watershed games for Calgary. So, it's Markstrom versus Ottinger. Both teams were turning it over early, and then Lewis takes advantage. He scores from Ruzicka and Lucic at 1:54. He roofed it. So nice goal for him. Gurianov then on a turnover couldn't bury one. But then Hanley, who had a goal in the playoffs, had a goal in the Stanley Cup final back in 2020, never scored in the regular season. He gets his first NHL goal in his 100th game. Bounced in. Damiani and Caro with the assists at 4:26. And then the Stars press for the lead. They get a power play. It's killed off. The Flames get a power play. That was killed off as well. Robertson then puts Dallas in the lead from Lindell and Heiskanen at 18-12, and it's under the bar. Not much of a chance for Markstrom on that one. With 1:20 left, the Flames get a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. Dallas just finishes off the kill. They get a power play themselves. Markstrom with a goal line stand during that. So the Flames did kill that off. The shots 9 minutes into this are 13-3 in favor of Dallas. And then Ben, on a great pass from Sagan, Gurianov with the other assist at 11:20 makes it 3-1 for Dallas. And Dallas has been pretty good at home, so a 3-1 lead should feel safe. I didn't necessarily feel all that safe, though. Anyways, Hintz on a turnover was then denied. The Flames get a 3-on-2. Ottinger saves there. There was some good end-to-end action with 5 minutes left. Radulov was denied as the Stars press. There's a post for Coleman and a late press by the Flames. So it's about rolling that over into the third, and they did. The third period, Vladar is in to start the period. I haven't heard since the game about whether or not Markstrom was hurt or if it was just a matter of Daryl Sutter looking for some kind of a change in momentum. But Vladar was in, and he was good for as little as he was tested. Dallas really didn't test him very much. Early press by the Stars. It doesn't last. Sagan can't bury one. Pavelski has a sharp angle shot that was saved. Then Lindholm has a shot that's blocked. And as we get further into the period, the Flames are picking up momentum. And at 14:36, they make it 3-2. Mangiapane from Hanifin and Backlund. And I wrote on the board right here, Stars are in trouble. You could see that Calgary was just rolling. And Dallas, I don't know if it was an energy thing. I don't know what it was, but they just didn't have it. And so Gaudreau ties it from Tkachuk at 15-13. And I just wrote, yep, tied. 3:57 left. The Stars get a power play. So again, this is okay. You've got a power play. You're at home. Nope, it's killed off. Not only that, but Shillington, out of the box, gets the goal. He scores from Lindholm and Anderson at 18-13. So Dallas goes into the third period up 3-1. And they end up losing in regulation 4-3 to Calgary. Calgary goes to 22-13-6. For the Dallas Stars, they're 23-18-2. These teams were tied for the final playoff spot in the West, and now Calgary's 2 points clear and has games in hand. So your three Stars are Shillington, Robertson, and Gaudreau. The shots, 11-6 Calgary in the first, 17-11 Dallas in the second, and then 18-5 Calgary in the third. Final shots, 40-28 for Calgary. Power plays, the Flames 0-2, Dallas 0-3, the hits 24-20 for Calgary. Markstrom saves 20 out of 23. Vladar goes in the third. He gets the win. 5 saves on the 5 shots he faced. Ottinger, 36 saves on 40 shots. I feel bad for the kid. He was under siege in that third period. Once the Flames got rolling, I'm not sure if it was just a matter of Dallas not having the energy or... Yeah, it just didn't work. And the other thing was, when the Flames tied it, I kind of expected Bonus to call a timeout, and he didn't. So, yeah, that happens. All right. That being said, moving along. Arizona. So, I haven't used this magnet for Colorado all year, and I thought, yeah, I'll use that tonight. Sure. I guess we might look at that and say that's what did it. But in reality, Arizona tonight this is one of those weird things where Arizona, for some reason, drives Colorado nuts in Colorado. The last time they met, it was a shootout. Tonight, goes to a shootout. Let's go through it. Wedgwood versus Kemper. The Avs had the only shot in the first 3 minutes. It was a slow game. Coyotes get a power play. There's a shorthanded chance for Kadri. Couldn't bury it. It's killed off. No shots. Nothing doing for Arizona. Coyotes prevent Avs chances in the first half. The shots are 2-1 for the Coyotes with 8 minutes left. So there's that, right? The Coyotes are making sure that the Avs don't get those shots, don't get those opportunities. There's a power play for the Coyotes. That's killed off. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4, and then the Avs get a 4-on-3, which becomes a 5-on-3 for 48 seconds. And the Avs call a timeout before the 5-on-3. But rolling over into the second period is the 5-on-4 portion, and the Coyotes finish off the kill. But Kadri scores at 2:42 to open the scoring and make it 1-0 Colorado. And this is where you expect the dam to burst. Here they come. Here comes Colorado. Avs get another power play. That's killed off. Galchenyuk with a net drive. He was denied. Sakura has a break. Just couldn't bury it. He lost the handle on it. Shots are 13-5 for the Avs with 9 minutes left. Mosier with a chance that's blocked as the Avs press. Or the Coyotes press, I should say. I'm so used to the Avs pressing and not the Coyotes. It's weird to say it. But Galchenyuk ties it, and it's a nice shot, and it's his first goal this year. So he scores from Lyubushkin and Keller at 12:54. It was a nice play by Keller behind the net, too, to get that whole thing started. So the Coyotes are throwing hits, and you could see there was a bit of a momentum shift. Late saves by Wedgwood, trying to keep it at a 1-1 tie. But Rantanen scores from Burakovsky at 19-17 to make it 2-1 Colorado after 2 periods. So again, you're figuring, well, it's 2-1 Colorado. Arizona's keeping it close. It's cute. It's what it is. However, Rantanen nearly scores another early in the third. The Avs press at the 5-minute mark. Kemper denies Schmaltz. The shots are 5-3 for the Avs at 9 minutes, so they're not giving Arizona much to look at. Sakura can't bury one in close, so Sakura had opportunities tonight, just couldn't get the goal. Chychrun has a blast that's kicked out. There's a post for Taves on a breakaway, so he'll be seeing that in his sleep tonight. And it's still a 1-goal lead. They pull the goaltender with 1 minute and 25 seconds left, and they score 6 on 5. It's Krause from Chychrun at 19-22. So that ties the game at 2. We're going overtime, and it was a shocked-looking Colorado crowd. The Avs control on the face-off. Landeskog has a chance that's saved. Keller gets it. The Coyotes would press. Boyd with a wraparound wouldn't go as the Avs, or the Coyotes just couldn't hit the net in overtime. Kadri fires one wide. Nichushkin can't bury and takes a penalty with 2 minutes and 14 seconds left. So it's 4 on 3, and I thought, oh, it's going to be the whole Nashville thing all over again. But the Coyotes call a timeout before the power play. I'm not sure what they discussed, but it didn't work. We get a shorthanded chance for Eric Johnson. That's held onto, so that brings about a whistle. And we found out in the overtime, 3 Avalanche players are better than 4 Coyotes. It's killed off without allowing a shot. So we go to the shootout. And in the shootout, the only goal is Galchenyuk. So with the shootout win, Arizona breaks the 10-game winning streak of Colorado, breaks the 18-game home winning streak. The point streak is still alive, but the winning streak is done. So Arizona goes to 11-29-4. The Colorado Avalanche dropped to 32-8-4. So they're still on a pretty good pace. But yeah, but just bizarre. This just shows that on any given night you got to watch. 3 stars are Wedgwood, Krause, and Rantanen. Your shots: 10-6 Colorado in the first, 17-11 Colorado in the second, 9-7 Colorado in the third, and in the overtime, 4-0 for Colorado. Final shots: 40-24 for the Avs. Power plays 0 for 3 for Arizona, 0 for 4 for Colorado. Hits 25-24 for the Coyotes. Wedgwood saves 38 out of 40. Kemper saves 22 out of 24. Yeah, Wedgwood played very, very well. And the Coyotes get themselves the win. I did not see that coming. Although I did say this morning in the preview, the Coyotes started the 10-game winning streak. They had a chance to end it tonight. And then they did. So, I don't know, maybe they watched the preview and said we can end it. Maybe it was like a rallying cry. All right, Buffalo, a team that needs a rallying cry right about now. Or just a good cry. Something, right? So it's Anderson versus Leonard as they go into Vegas. And when I saw this, I said, okay, so Colorado's going to destroy Arizona. Vegas is going to destroy Buffalo. And these are the last 2 games of the night. Great. This didn't turn out that way. Well, anyway. Smith scores at 33 seconds. Not a great start for Buffalo from Carlson and Marchessault. So the misfit line gets a goal early. Shots are 2-1 for Vegas at 5 minutes. Sabres get stuck on 1 shot for a while. There's a press by Vegas at 6.5 minutes. Dodonov nearly gets a breakaway. Carlson has a tip that's saved. The Sabres, though, start getting opportunities. And I thought as the period wore on, you could see they were having a decent game. They were getting opportunities, just they weren't getting the goals. Vegas gets a power play. That's killed off. But then Howden. Brett Howden has a 3-game goal-scoring streak. Yeah, that's weird. He scores from Stone at 18-19, and it's on a Dylan Cousins turnover. So when Buffalo's trying to get that tie, instead the puck's turned over and it's 2-0, which is the kind of break Buffalo gets. 5 seconds left, Vegas gets a power play, so that rolls over into the second period. They score on it. It's Marchessault from Roy and Carlson at 1:31. Perfect pass by Roy. Easy goal for Marchessault. Just put it in the empty net. Sabres then get a power play, and Vegas scores on it. Shorthanded goal. It's Colasar from Howden at 4:27. So Howden with a goal and an assist. Yeah, the guy's all of a sudden scoring a bunch of points. We then get a power play for Vegas after they're finished killing off the Buffalo power play. That power play is killed. Sabres press. No shots, though. So the Sabres had some pressure around the half. Just weren't getting shots. Cousins was then denied. The Sabres get a power play. That's killed off. And then Tuck, before the period's out. Buffalo had a lot of shots in that second period. Eventually they get there. Tuck scores from Yoki Haru at 16 minutes. So Alex Tuck in his game against Vegas, he gets a goal there. So it's 4-1 Vegas after 2 periods. Third period, Carlson has a chance that's saved, but then at 1:14, It's Stone from Pacioretty and Patrick. So that makes it 5-1. Tage Thompson ends up hitting a post shortly thereafter. Tuck had a breakaway. Leonard saved on that. And then Hayden gets his first goal of the year from Thompson at 12:23 to make it 5-2. Vegas gets a power play. Sabres kill it off. Wasn't Sabres night. Really wasn't. 5-2 is your final. Vegas goes to 27-16-3 with the win. Buffalo drops to 14-24-7. Your 3 stars are Howden, Smith, and Leonard. So all members of the Vegas Golden Knights. Shots 9-8 Vegas in the first, 16 apiece in the second, and then 9-8 Vegas in the third. So shot-wise, 34-32 in favor of Vegas. Power plays, Buffalo 0-2, Vegas 1-4. Hits 26-15 for Buffalo. Again, the Sabres had a good game, just Vegas was able to get the puck in the net. Anderson saves 29 out of 34. Leonard saves 30 out of 32. And so for Vegas, they open up a little bit of a lead over Anaheim atop the division, keeping in mind that, of course, Calgary is now threatening to get into that hunt for the lead in the division as well. And don't write off the Kings. So the Pacific stays interesting. Let me know your thoughts regarding any of these 11 games in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And again, this is probably the longest review that I'm going to be posting all month. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.